Florida-based civil rights groups sued state and local election officials Thursday to block new restrictive voting measures immediately after Governor Ron DeSantis signed them into law, arguing the new requirements will disenfranchise voters, including voters of color, seniors, and younger voters. DeSantis signed SB 90 into law Thursday morning, which imposes new restrictions on mail-in voting and ballot drop boxes in the state in the name of election integrity, despite officials acknowledging their elections in November ran smoothly and were without widespread fraud. The League of Women Voters of Florida, Black Voters Matter Fund, Florida Alliance for Retired Americans, and several individual voters sued Florida Secretary of State Laurel Lee, State Attorney General Ashley Moody, and local supervisors of elections in federal court 9 minutes after the bill's signing, decrying SB 90 as a voter suppression bill. The lawsuit takes aim at provisions in the new law that limit ballot drop boxes by requiring them to be staffed by election workers, restrict third-party volunteers from helping return voters' mail-in ballots, and require voters to request mail-in ballots more often than in the past. The litigation also challenges language in the legislation that would likely restrict groups from giving food and water to voters as they wait in line, as well as a requirement that third-party organizations warn Floridians before registering them to vote that the organization might not deliver the voter's application in time, which the plaintiffs argue would dissuade people from registering to vote. The new restrictions do not impede all of Florida's voters equally, the civil rights groups argue, alleging they will disproportionately harm groups like younger voters, seniors, and minority voters that vote by mail at higher rates and have historically had to overcome substantial hurdles to reach the ballot box. A second lawsuit was then filed later Thursday morning by other civil rights groups, including the NAACP, arguing SB 90 is a restrictive and wholly unnecessary encroachment on the fundamental right to vote that will disproportionately harm voters of color and disabled voters. 4.8 million. That's how many Floridians cast their ballots by mail in the November 2020 election, according to the Florida Division of Elections. In a notable reversal from past Florida elections where Republicans favored mail-in voting, the 2020 election saw Democrats cast 680,000 more mail-in ballots than Republicans after former President Donald Trump and other GOP notables repeatedly attacked the practice. SB 90 is a bill that purports to solve problems that do not exist, caters to a dangerous lie about the 2020 election that threatens our most basic democratic values, and, in the end, makes it harder to vote without adequate justification for doing so, the lawsuit argues. Florida Republicans have defended the voting legislation as necessary to ensure election integrity and restore voter confidence in the security of Florida's elections, even as they've praised how their elections have been run in the past. Me signing this bill here says, Florida, your vote counts, your vote is going to be cast with integrity and transparency, DeSantis told Fox and Friends Thursday after signing the bill. Florida's law is part of a broader nationwide trend of Republican state lawmakers imposing new restrictions on voting following allegations from Trump and his GOP allies that the November election was subject to widespread fraud, which there is no credible evidence to support. In addition to Florida, new laws have also been enacted in Kansas, Iowa, Arkansas, Montana, Wyoming, and most controversially Georgia, whose restrictions have caused a national controversy and driven multiple corporations to take their business out of the state. New restrictions could next be enacted in Texas, where House lawmakers are due to vote on voting legislation Thursday, and multiple other battleground states like Arizona and Michigan are also considering new voting bills. The Florida lawsuit follows similar litigation that has already been filed in Georgia, Iowa, and Montana. DeSantis garnered widespread criticism Thursday after local news journalists reported they were barred from covering his bill signing, which was exclusively covered by Fox News.